Guys, Bird Yugioh here, coming at you with another deck profile. This time we're finally doing my first Shaddoll deck profile for you guys. This is basically strictly based off of the structure deck, this first one. This is going to be your budget version. I also have, at minimum, 2 other versions that I'm going to be doing for you guys, so stay tuned for those. But yeah, let's get started with this one. So basically we took 3 structure decks, made this. I added 3 additional cards to the main deck and 3 additional cards to the extra deck. Those cards are not expensive at all. They're also dirt cheap. So let's get right into the deck, and I'll highlight some of those cards that I added to it. We start off with 3 of one of the new support that is just absolutely amazing. Shaddoll Wendy. So all of the Shaddoll monsters have a flip effect, and then a effect when they're sent to the graveyard. So her flip effect is you can special summon 1 Shaddoll monster from your deck in face up or face down defense position. And then if this card is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can special summon 1 Shaddoll monster from your deck in face down defense position. So she just gets your whole engine going. Absolutely amazing. She's a wind, which comes up for a few of the cards we play in the extra deck. Play 3 Squamata. The flip effect is you can target 1 monster on the field and destroy it. That's not the reason we play it at 3. The reason we play it at 3 is because when this card is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can send 1 Shaddoll card from your deck to the graveyard. So that again just gets everything going for you. He basically, if he's sent to the graveyard, he becomes any other Shaddoll monster's effect. Is basically what that amounts to. 2 Beast. He's basically your draw power. When he's flip summoned, you can draw 2 cards, then discard 1 card. And then when he's sent to the graveyard, you can just draw 1 card. So he's really good. And then I also like 2 Hedgehog. Flip effect is you can add 1 Shaddoll spell trap from your deck to your hand. And then if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 Shaddoll monster from your deck to your hand. So they all, as you can see, they all have just really, really good effects. Perfect for the archetype. 1 Shaddoll Falco. He's one that I kind of maybe want to bump up, but I think he's okay at 1. His flip effect is you can target 1 Shaddoll monster in your graveyard and special summon it in face down defense position. And then if he's sent to the graveyard, you can special summon him in face down defense position. So you kind of just keep stuff floating, keep stuff on the field. Pretty good. And then just 1 Shaddoll Dragon. There is a lot of spell trap stuff out there. His flip effect, though, is you could target 1 card your opponent controls and return it to the hand. But then if he's sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 spell and trap on the field and destroy it. So that'll destroy like Mystic Mine and stuff like that. So he does definitely come up. Or Anti-Spell Fragrance, whatever you're playing against. And then another new card that we play is Nell Shaddoll Ariel. Her flip effect is you can target 1 of your banished Shaddoll monsters and special summon it in face up or face down defense position. So there's a few cards that we play where you will be banishing some of your Shaddoll monsters. So getting them back is, just free monster basically. And then if she's sent to the graveyard, you can target up to 3 cards in either player's graveyard and banish them. So again, that you can really hurt your opponent with that, banishing specific cards that they need in the graveyard. And then I do play 1 of the quad Shaddoll Yugioh. His flip effect is you can special summon 1 Shaddoll monster from your hand in face up or face down defense position. And then if he's sent to the graveyard, you can send 1 Shaddoll monster from your hand to the graveyard. And if you do, for the rest of the turn, all monsters you control gain attack and defense equal to the level times 100 of the monster that you sent to the graveyard from your hand. So you will sometimes have Shaddolls in your hand, obviously. And so having him be able to get their effects off by sending them to the graveyard is really nice, or special summoning them is really nice as well. So that's it for the Shaddoll main deck monsters we play. Our best normal summon to basically get our engines going, send these to the graveyard, is going to be Mathematician. Definitely play him at 3. He's amazing. When he's normal summoned, you just send one level 4 or lower monster from your deck to the graveyard. So any of them, except for Beast. That's the only one you won't be able to send off of Mathematician. But you'll be able to send any of the others, which, you can send Squamata, and then Squamata will then send Beast. So you basically can send anyone that you want. And then I really like one Armageddon Knight. I know some people are like, oh, that card sucks or whatever. But you're basically this one you can actually send Beast and any of your dark. You just send one dark monster from your deck to the graveyard. So I still like them. You get all of your original Shaddoll effects off. Not any of the new ones because they're not dark, but still comes up, still good. And then here's 2 of the cards that I would suggest adding. Damage Juggler, because when he's sent to the grave, you can, or when he's in the grave, you can banish him, and then you add either a Trick Clown or a Hat Tricker for just an additional summon, additional monster on the field with Hat Tricker. And then Trick Clown is going to be a light in the grave, and then it special summons itself back when it's sent to the grave. So these are the 3 main deck cards that you want to add. Trick Clown actually does come in the structure deck, so you don't need to add that one. But I would suggest picking up a couple of these. They're commons. They should be dirt cheap, so pick those up. They're really good to have in the deck. That's just the ratio I'm playing right now. You could cut Hat Tricker and just play like 2 Damage Juggler and 2 Trick Clown if you wanted to. That's an option. Then you would only have to get 2 additional cards, but Hat Tricker does come up, and it is nice to have that just another monster on board. So that is it for the monsters. Starting off with the spells, the best one is Shaddoll Fusion. So good. It's your polymerization basically for Shaddolls. You fusion summon one Shaddoll fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field, and then if your opponent controls a monster that was special summoned from the extra deck, you can also use monsters in your deck as the fusion materials. So obviously that is very good because you're going to be sending the monsters from the deck to the grave if you're going second basically. But yeah, it's amazing card. It is only a normal spell, which is why we play also El Shaddoll Fusion. It's a quick play, and you just fusion summon one Shaddoll monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field. So obviously, it can enable OTKs because you can use this in the battle phase to get another monster on board for just more damage. And then I play the one Nephi Shaddoll Fusion. You just activate it by declaring one attribute and equip to a Shaddoll monster, and it becomes that attribute. And then you can also, during your main phase, fusion summon one Shaddoll fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand and field, including the equip monster that's equipped by this card. So it basically enables you, if you have another Shaddoll monster in your hand, to fuse with that monster on the board, and it could become anything you need it to. It could become a construct, it could become a Winda, because you're adjusting the attribute to whatever you need it to be. And then one, you have to play Super Polymerization. Amazing in this deck. I mean, amazing in any deck. Super Polymerization is just too good. I don't know how long it's going to be at 3, so play it while you can. But you just discard one card, fusion summon one monster from your deck using monsters from either side of the field, and then neither player can activate cards or effects in response to it. So you're pretty much going to get it off. Get that fusion summon off. And then 3 Allure of Darkness. It's basically the best draw power you got. You're going to draw 2 cards and banish one dark monster from your hand. Or if you don't have any in your hand, you just send your entire hand to the graveyard. So this is that way I was saying of getting a banished monster to the banish zone for like Ariel to then summon it back. So that's one way of doing it. And then the other draw power we got is Pot of Avarice, because you're obviously going to be wanting to send a lot of monsters to the grave, so you should have a pretty good amount. So this just becomes shuffle shuffle 5 monsters into the deck, and then draw 2. And then lastly, just 1 Foolish Burial. That should be self-explanatory. You're just basically getting any of your Shaddoll effects off with Foolish Burial. So 2 good. And then we do play 3 traps. This version is really nice. I particularly like decks that can go first and second, and this is for sure one of them. They can definitely go first. Build up a board of Construct, Winda, and then some of these traps, or it can go second and just super poly your opponent and just wreck them that way. So for going first, obviously, this trap card is really nice. Resh Shaddoll Incarnation. You just target 1 Shaddoll in your graveyard and special summon it in face up or face down defense position. And then if this is in the grave, you can banish this card and 1 Shaddoll card from your graveyard, and you can either change 1 face down monster you control to face up defense position, to get a nice flip effect off, or you can change 1 face up monster you control to face down defense position. So both of those come up obviously all the time. And then lastly, just 1 Shaddoll core. It's really nice to have. You just special summon it as an effect monster. It'll be dark level 9 with 1950 defense. And then you can substitute this card for 1 fusion material that lists an attribute on a Shaddoll fusion monster. And if this is sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can target 1 Shaddoll spell trap in your graveyard and add it to your hand. So it definitely is nice to have. I like it. So that is it for the main deck. We kept it right at 40, just for consistency. And then the extra deck, you obviously play the 3 Construct. It's a really, really good card. It just requires 1 Shaddoll monster and 1 light monster. And then if it's special summoned, you can send 1 Shaddoll card from your deck to the graveyard. So you get yet another effect going off. And then at the start of the damage step, if this card battles a special summoned monster, you just destroy it. And then if it's sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 Shaddoll spell and trap and add it to your hand. So it's your way of easily getting back like a Shaddoll fusion or El Shaddoll fusion, to use again. And the other 3 we play is Winda. She just requires 1 Shaddoll monster and 1 dark monster. And then she cannot be destroyed by an opponent's card effect. And then each player can only special summon monsters once per turn while this card is face up on the field. And then if she's sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 Shaddoll in your spell a trap in your graveyard and add it to your hand. So that obviously that's a great way of ending your first turn board, to just kind of make your opponent only be able to special summon 1 monster. And then we played just 1 of the new Alp Cologne, El Shaddoll Alp Cologne. It just requires 2 Shaddoll monsters with different attributes. And then it cannot be destroyed by battle. And then you can either, you have 1 of these effects you can use. If this card is special summoned, you can target 1 face-up card on the field and negate its effects. Or you can, if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 Shaddoll card from your deck or your graveyard to your hand, and then you discard a card. So it could potentially be a very, very good card. And then just 1 Shekinaga. We basically play 1 of each of the other El Shaddoll monsters just for utility purposes and super poly and all kinds of stuff. But when this special summon, or when a special summon monster activates its effect while you have a Shaddoll card in your hand, you can negate the activation, and if you do destroy that monster, then you send 1 Shaddoll card from your hand to the graveyard. And then again, if you send to the graveyard, you can target 1 Shaddoll spell trap and add it to your hand. So potentially could be a lot of really good effects going off of this 1 card. And then 1 Wendigo. It requires a Shaddoll and a Wind. And then you can target 1 monster you control. This turn, it cannot be destroyed by battle with an opponent's special summon monster. So protects, your Winda or whatever. Then 1 Anoyatelis, just 1 water monster and 1 Shaddoll. Neither player can special summon monsters from the hand or graveyard using spell or trap effects. So it comes up every now and then. And if this card is sent to the graveyard, you again can add a Shaddoll spell trap back to your hand. And then the last one is going to be just one Grista, just one fire and one Shaddoll. When your opponent would special summon a monster while you have a Shaddoll card in your hand, you can negate the summon. And if you do, destroy it, and then you send one Shaddoll card from your hand to the graveyard. So that's it for the Shaddoll fusions. Like I said, more utility than anything. You're probably not going to get most of these on the board or not want to. It's mostly going to be Construct or Winda. But especially, like I said, for like Super Poly and stuff like that, these will come up, again, in certain matchups. But then your main Super Poly targets are going to be Mud Dragon. It just requires 2 monsters with the same attribute, but different types. And then 1 Starving Venom. Since you're playing Darks, and if you're playing against a Dark deck, this will just blow them out of the water. And then so that's 2 of the cards you're going to be needing to add. Like they're pretty cheap. The other one is going to be 1 land for Hinkus, and then the last one is going to be Shaddoll Construct. So that comes in the structure, but you'll just need to add these 3 for this version that I'm doing. This is just to get arrows. That's all it's for. So that you can summon multiple fusion monsters. Come here in the next few weeks, next month. We won't need to be using Link monsters really in this deck, because you're going to be able to summon all these fusions in the main monster zones, which will be really, really nice. This deck will get a huge boost from that. But Shaddoll Construct is really nice. This requires 2 flip monsters, and during your main phase, you can fusion summon 1 Shaddoll fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field. And then if this card is in your graveyard, you can send 1 Shaddoll card from your hand or face up on the field to the graveyard, and then special summon this back. So it could potentially be pretty nice to get out. So that's the deck, guys. Like I said, I got a few more variations of this deck. This is by far your bare bones budget version, but yet it's going to be very good. Especially, like I said, with those super polys, and just being able to use them with basically any hand you have, it's going to be really nice, and you'll be able to win a lot of games with just a simple structure deck. So yeah, we will catch you guys on the next one.